There is a massive opportunity in 2023, and I think you should take full advantage of it. So what's up, everybody? My name is Henry Eisenstein, and if you don't know who I am, I've been a part of over $450 million worth of real estate transactions, and I'm only 28 years old. And in this video, we're going to talk about the biggest opportunity in 2023, regardless of this ridiculous economy. I was having a conversation with a student recently, and they were in the commercial world. They were specifically talking about the office space in the commercial real estate industry. They were saying how it's just moving really slow, which we all realize that obviously people aren't working in the office so much, so commercial leasing around the office space is just dying right now. I mean, that industry is slowly declining. Let's just call a spade, and what I would like to invite you to looking at is the real estate industry as a whole is consistently cyclical. It has always been cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. What's interesting though is if you can consistently ride the waves of each asset class. I'm talking commercial and residential. It's just that there's a multifaceted approach to this industry, which most real estate agents don't take advantage of. And by the way, I want to dive deep into this because there's also multiple facets of different real estate residential markets, just like there is different commercial real estate markets. Because I want to talk about this openly for a second. If you knew specifically that 1/10 of the amount of properties in your specific niche were going to sell next year versus this year, as in you're going to have a massive decline in production available, your pie in which you're trying to get a little slice of is dwindling, and you knew that for sure, would you stay in that same specific niche, or would you just take a 30,000 foot view of your business, no emotion for a second, and say, what pie is growing? What facet of this industry is growing year over year over year, where my piece of the pie, my percentage, doesn't even need to grow? But if I just stayed consistent at my little percentage of this pie, which is growing, my income's gonna go up. So let me explain this in both the commercial and residential world really quickly so you can have an understanding depending where you are. And obviously a really quick, just high level overview, which you can have a really quick takeaway here. This is if you are a residential agent, strictly homes, you're selling just strictly residential property, and you are not paying attention to the fact that you could easily learn how to sell commercial real estate because it uses the same license, and yes, it is a little bit different, obviously, but it's like when you did a rental for the first time, it's a little bit different. You just gotta learn how that nuance is handled. Yes, and it can take some time, there's a decent learning curve, but this is simply put, if you're a residential agent, you can start selling commercial property. It's not that complicated, and you don't need to refer it out every time, even when your commercial broker friends are gonna tell you, oh, just refer it and I'll take care of it. I'm not trying to downplay the fact of how much extra effort goes into a commercial transaction. I get it firsthand. However, I am saying, as someone who came from the residential world, selling over 100 residential transactions per year, realizing that the commercial world really isn't that complicated if you can just learn how to do it. It's like an art. It's just like a science. If you can learn how to do it once, you can do it over and over and over again, okay? And I promise you it's not that complicated. So that's just a high level overview, but I want to dive really deep because this is also multifaceted in just the residential side and multifaceted on the commercial side. So let's just talk the commercial side, because this is a really easy way to explain it. If you're specifically focusing on a specific niche in the commercial world, hypothetically, you only do office, or you only do retail, or you only do hospitality, I would urge you to ask yourself, do you think your pie is dwindling or do you think it's expanding? Because if you think your asset class is gonna have a better year next year than this year, you can continue to heavily prospect it. However, if you think next year is going to be worse than it is right now, if you think it's only gonna get worse, why do you stay in that asset class? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Again, if you knew multifamily and industrial were the two hottest asset classes in commercial real estate right now, and you're not working in those asset classes, why would you not just start prospecting it and learning how to do it so that can be your new niche? What I'm here to explain to all of you here today was the biggest lesson I learned was I need to learn about all of these different niches. Which one is doing unbelievably well right now? Where is that asset class market going? And then I can focus specifically on going where the puck is. Because if I know if that pie is expanding, that asset class is gonna have more transactions year over year, like that area is expanding, right? Because industrial and multifamily are still doing incredibly well. I'm talking about my specific area for a second. Obviously, I know all over the country, there's all different types of markets, so you obviously need to pay attention to that too. I want us to just call a spade for a second and be very clear with the fact that whatever asset class in your area is growing, that's what I would be focusing on. I would not be focusing on the asset class in your area that is dwindling. That doesn't make any sense. Same exact concept for in the residential world. There's so many people who go, I only sell in one town. You know how many times I heard that? I was like, I don't know how you possibly do any business. If you're in the residential world, first and foremost, it's expand your location. I'll give you an example. I have a student of mine who's done unbelievably well over the past few years, and one of the biggest changes we've made, because he lived in a rural area in the middle of Michigan, and what we found out, shout out to you, Logan, you're the man. One thing we found out is that his area, his direct location where he lives, the average price point is only like 275 or 300,000, but 35 or 40 minutes away, where there's, the area called Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a very happening area, and the average price point in that area is like 600,000 or 700,000. So he's able to immediately 2.5x the average price point in which he's prospecting, which means that he will have a 2.5x income shift if he can continue to do just the same amount of transactions. So it's important to realize that if you can make a slight adjustment in your business, it's not about doing something completely different. It's just maybe you just gotta expand your knowledge in different areas in where you live. Simple example as well. If you are not working with investors, okay, you're working with just end users, you only work with buyers, how on planet Earth do you think you're gonna be able to scale a business if you work 80% with buyers right now? This is a very tough time for buyers. So if you're not gonna learn how to work with sellers, the opportunity is to say, I'm gonna now be a listing agent focused, and then I'm gonna still work with some buyers if I need to. Okay, because that's where the market and the economy is right now. If hypothetically certain price points are being compressed, for those of you who focus on the luxury markets, you can't just do hypothetically super luxury homes. Because when the market is tanking, stock market is tanking, when all these different types of assets are dropping, okay, where like all these very wealthy individuals are making their money, where, think about it, things like COVID, okay, the very beginning of COVID, where a lot of these businesses were shut down and all these incredibly wealthy people weren't doing transactions, and then things started coming back and the interest rates dropped, these people were jumping on these incredibly expensive homes like no tomorrow. Some people broke unbelievable records in the super luxury price points. That's not happening right now though. Those super luxury sales are not happening right now, and there's an abundance of inventory in those super high luxury price points. So if you can learn how to be in a higher price point area, but not the super luxury, you are going to be in a buffered area where you know you're probably always gonna have some inventory to sell. I would easily just say to you, for all of you listening, I would try to find the markets where your price point, right? Like if your average is 500, again, target the 800 to 900,000. Try to be as close to 2x of your average price point right now without touching super luxury. You're gonna be focusing on an area where you have some really high turnover, but you're not gonna be affected by the economy so much. Those people are still going to be pretty abundant when it comes to their payment. Even if interest rates go up, they're going to be okay. And even if they have to drop their price point 900 to 800, they're going to be okay. However, those price points are going to be tanking. They're dropping like, freaking crazy right now. So it's important to be very nimble. The purpose of this video is for you to go, okay, instead of being pigeonholed in super niche, which I agree has some massive value to an expertise for somebody, agreed. However, if all of your business is pigeonholed to a specific niche in this type of economy, when everything is, it's a really weird time right now, if you are not a dynamic realtor where you have the ability to sell residential, commercial, or anything in between, sometimes even businesses. If businesses are, if that's a super heavy thing in your area, learn how to sell businesses. It's the same license. You need to be dynamic, multifaceted in your expertise so you can, again, what you prospect for, you will sell. So if you're gonna prospect for a higher price point, you're gonna sell higher price point properties. If you prospect for commercial, you're going to sell commercial properties. If you prospect for businesses, you're gonna sell businesses. What you prospect, you will sell. What you network for, you will get. So it's a pretty self-explanatory model when you, again, just take a 30,000 foot view, no emotion, look to it. However, so many realtors are like, I remember I just spoke to somebody recently, and again, they're doing like 20 or 30 transactions, but they're like, I only work with X type of clientele. They were like, I only work with first-time home buyers. It's like 80% of my business. I'm like, that is a terrifying specific facet of this business right now. First-time home buyers, if we just take that as an asset class, that is a terrifying asset class to be in. I would never choose to be in that right now. And if you're in it right now, I would highly suggest you get out of it right now. And I'm not saying don't do any first-time home buyer business, because obviously right now you're probably feeling the pain, right? It's probably gonna hurt because those people are getting crushed, they're getting pinched because the entry-level price points are still going up and the interest rates are going up still, right? And so they're getting pinched when it comes to a monthly budget. However, if you can make a couple key adjustments, this is where all of a sudden sudden, I'm able to show my students that they can see a double in their income between 90 days and their first 12 months with us with ease. It does not have to be difficult to have a double in income. Matter of fact, you can even sell probably the same amount of transactions year over year and you can possibly still make more money if you're smart about it and you prospect higher price points and you're conscious about your commissions that you take and your brokerage you're with. That's it. Make it simple, guys. I'm here to implore you. I am telling you right now, the biggest opportunity in real estate is diversify, adapt, shift, diversify your expertise, because you are going to be able to take market share like I have in my area when other people are looking the other way. I'm able to gobble up some market share, so while the rest of the realtors that I grew up in the industry with are struggling, and some of them aren't even in the business anymore, even though they were making a few $100,000 a year at some points, they're not even in the industry anymore because they did not diversify their expertise and they kept doing real estate the same way to the same type of clients for 10 years. So again, if you got value from this video, I'd love for you guys to like and subscribe if you have not yet already. And make sure you put all the comments down below if you have any questions, because we answer every single one. Other than that, guys, I love you so much and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious, why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can see like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.